We have never seen a more technologically advanced or knowledgeable society than right now, and yet we have less agency than all the civilizations that came before us. We are more detached than ever before, even though you can go on your phone and in a moment's notice call someone across the world. I think this stems from vanity, a lack of meaning, a lack of purpose. People work jobs they hate to buy things that they don't need to impress people that they don't like. And when you feel unfulfilled with the main thing that your time and effort is going into, naturally your brain spirals into things like hedonism, things like degeneracy, or just in general non-productive pursuits. And this might not seem like that big of a deal in a short period of time or for a small group of people, but over a long period of time, and when it's spread to an entire population, it starts to compound over time, and then you're basically headed for an inevitable demise, which I feel like we all kind of feel like is coming. Now, I think a lot of people think that there's going to be one dramatic collapse. I don't view it like that. I think it's going to be slow. And to be honest with you, I think that it's actually not going to be it's going to be bad, but it's going to be like a phoenix where you burn, like from the ashes you rise. From the ashes, from the demise of our society, we will grow into a more fruitful, beautiful society. That's what I'm hoping happens. But yeah, there will need to be some type of confrontation, because just look around. Does anyone seem fulfilled? Does anyone seem happy? People are detached, man. And what happens is people are becoming more and more radicalized in any faction of life. It's not just politics. It could be sports, music, culture, anything. People become more and more radicalized. They become stronger in their opinions without knowing what they're talking about, because they feel like they have no other option. They're desperate to cling on to something that will create their identity, because the things that humans used to find identity in, their community, their family, their loved ones, their job, it's not giving it to them. So we're trying to find it in, the random people that we meet off the streets. We're trying to find it in our Instagram, like having the most aesthetic Instagram. We're trying to find it in the clothes that we wear, and like all this meaningless stuff. And it's so exhausting. It's like vanity metrics are what matters to people. Like everything's so shallow. All the movements that you see that go on online are inherently rooted in something that is shallow. It's like, I want money. I want to look as attractive as possible. I want to have as much social validation. But then those same people go home and they're completely insecure. And it's the remote farmers that kind of just live in their own small communities that aren't like really tapped into modern culture or modern society. The ones that don't care about looks maxing. Those are the ones that seem to be the happiest people you know. So my family, like my extended family, they're all farmers from Iowa. They live in like the Midwest in very rural areas. And when I go visit them, once or twice a year, and we go to church and we go out on the town, I can just tell they're so much more happy. They're so much more content. They don't care about drama or how many social media followers they have. They just enjoy life a lot more than the people that I've met. I grew up in Chicago, than like the people that I met in the city. So there is something to be said about it. And I think what's happened is we've over-optimized in almost every aspect of life. And it's like you've created phones so that you could talk to people very easily, and yet we're more disconnected than ever before. I would compare it to a roundabout in a non-busy residential neighborhood. Like if you want to turn left and there's no cars coming anywhere, going around the entire roundabout to turn left is so much less efficient than a regular stop sign. And that's what we've done with society. It's like less efficient, the things that we have created. Why is it that AI is doing the art? They're like writing, and they're creating images and paintings and all this stuff. And then we have humans that are crunching numbers on spreadsheets and writing, BS emails to like HR. That's super performative. Like, shouldn't we flip that? Shouldn't the AI be crunching the numbers? Shouldn't machines be in the factories doing the monotonous work, and then humans do the art? Nothing makes sense to me. I don't know. And everything is a trend. Everything moves so fast. People care about, it's like there's a herd mentality that's very obvious online, where you can just see the way that people they sort of use the same lingo, they have the same talking points. Their mind and what they value is made up by what they see on their algorithm, and they have such strong opinions about this stuff that they don't really know anything about, and they've been engineered to believe. And there are people that are running the algorithms, the higher ups in the world. They are basically mind warping us and controlling the minds of the masses. And what happens when entertainment comes at the cost of integrity and of real virtue is everyone starts pursuing that which is hedonistic, that has no like real merit to it. And people just at the end of the day, when their head hits the pillow, they're sitting there thinking, what is my life, man? How do I switch it? How do I turn this around? But yeah, everything seems to, like social media, it seems to prioritize, or not prioritize, it rewards outrage, anything that divides people, humiliation, conflict, public shaming. It rewards all of that stuff. And it's like negativity, negativity, negativity. So the brain waves that are going on in people, whatever the terminology you want to use, it's like negativity all the time. And it's like, ugh, it sucks. People, once again, as I was referring to earlier in this video, they are desperate for an identity and they latch onto things. And people start to latch onto stuff that you should not build an identity off of, like your political ideology. You should never build your identity off of your political ideology. That's a terrible idea, and that's a very quick way to fall into depression, to think that the world sucks, to just hate in general, just to hate. Like, I don't know. It just feels like your days are meant to survive and not to be lived. Like, how can I get through this day? I got this terrible job, man, and it's like I just need to get to the end of my shift so I can go watch this Netflix movie, or I can play this video game. That's how it feels like for the average person. And as a result of this, everything has become artificial. The conversations you have with people, it's like it's the same talking points. Their relationships. Relationships are parasocial. Communities are metaphysical. It doesn't end, bro. Entertainment, politics, all of it. It's just over and over and over again. Society, what we've done is we've replaced meaning with consumption, wherein people are encouraged to buy things, and they'll chase status, and they sort of endlessly optimize their life, but that comes at the expense of their true self. So they're not building real purpose. And what do you think happens when this compounds over years? Like, 20 years down the line, when our generation is in their 40s, what do you think's going to happen? And then the generations below us that grew up off of iPads, the iPad kids, they're going to be in even worse shape than we are, because they never even had a chance to grow up and critically think at all. It was just immediately they were thrown into, the fire pit, whatever you want to call it. I feel like communities are disappearing, bro. People know thousands of strangers online, but they barely know their neighbor. They don't even know their family members. But yeah, and humans are not designed to know as much as we know. The global suffering that's going on, as terrible as it is, it's also just, your brain is not designed to handle this much negativity and in despair. I don't want to open up my phone and see a video of what's going on in Gaza and in children being put in these terrible situations. It's so bad for your soul. It's terrible. I don't want to watch it. And then people will be like, oh, you're a terrible person because you're not talking about what's going on. It's like, no, I do have sympathy for them, but my sympathy has capped out, brother. Like, I can't know anymore. Like, it's exhausting. Not to mention, everything you do nowadays seems to be observed. Like, you can't, like, everyone's got an opinion on what you're doing, especially online, and it just seems like you can never make a right move because it's under the microscope, and it sucks. But yeah, it's like a slow demise that we're seeing, and everyone feels it. There's no meaning behind what's going on. I don't know. Culture hasn't improved or like moved on in like 10, 15 years. Every movie that's coming out is a remake of one that was made, or a concept that was done 20 years prior. All the music is just trying to replicate or bring back that old vibe. Nothing has really progressed from that 2016 and 2018 era. That's how I feel. And so, yeah, now we just have a bunch of randos. Everyone just seems a little bit lost, and there is no person that is going to help us and lead us to sort of a better life outside of a higher power. Like if you're like me, I believe in Christ, I'm a Christian, and I'm not saying you have to follow what I follow, but unless there's sort of a higher calling, people are just going to fall into this vanity. Because I'll tell you one thing, no president that we have is really going to help us, because every president is like hyper controversial and seems to only have the best interest of a select group of individuals and not all of them. And it sucks, man, and it's sad to see. But at the end of the day, I hold faith. I hold hope and faith in our future. I think what's going to happen, I can't speak right now. What is going to have to happen is there's going to need to be some conflict and ultimately a resolution to that conflict, which will be sort of like the demise of society, and then we grow from the ashes. And that's the only way that this can be done. Until then, people are going to continue to fight each other, and there's going to be a meaning crisis, a mental health crisis, among many other crises that are going on, until there's some sort of confrontation.